welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil, and today I'm in Kingswinford. I thought, I'll stop by in Kingswinford for the simple reason that you live in West Brom, you want to go somewhere where there's a bit of countryside. You could go down to Dartmouth Park or the Samwell Valley Country Park if you want, but if you wanted to go out somewhere a little bit further, this is where you would normally come. It's a through town. As you go through Kingswinford, you generally make your way toward Kinver and Kidderminster, Bewdley, that kind of area. And that's where I've generally gone through Kingswinford to get to these places. So I thought I'd stop off here in Kingswinford, have a look around. I used to live here when I was a young lad. So let's have a look around and see what Kingswinford's got to offer. Okay, so makes a bit of a change, doesn't it, to come somewhere a bit different. Here in Kingswinford, I'm currently on the High Street. Amazing how long the High Street is, but it's not all in Kingswinford. The High Street begins, I believe, up by Russell Hall Hospital, which is near Dudley. It comes through large parts of Pensnet and carries on and comes to here in Kingswinford. So this is the High Street, and I did live here for a short time until I was about 10 years old, and just ahead of me I went to this school. It was called St Mary's School, and it's been long demolished now in the 1970s when it was finally bulldozed, but very fine old looking school, built in 1835, and I had a problem trying to find out where the school was for a time, but now I've discovered that it was here because you can see all the old wall ahead of me. The boundary wall, it's still standing to this day, which shows you that's where the school was, beyond that wall, with its small pillars on either side of the wall. And beyond the wall, where the school used to be, St Mary's, now we've got 1, 2, 3 houses on that site. St Mary's School, when it was demolished, a new school was built in its place at the bottom of Queen Street in Kingswinford. As we continue our short walk along the High Street, there's a couple of pubs along here, and there's which are worthy of mention. This is the Cottage. There's been a pub on this site since 1851, when it was first called the Cottage of Content, but it was rebuilt in 1966. So it's not the original building, but it has been a pub there since the 1850s. It was known locally as the Pump. It was called the Pump because it was the first public water supply from here, because there was a pump outside of the pub, and the supply came from there. That's why it was called the Pump. It also had a bowling green at the rear. I don't think there is a bowling green there anymore. This pub's called the Bell. Nice little pub it looks. It's set back from the road. There's been a pub on this site since 1842 called the Bell, but it got rebuilt fairly recently, I should say, as opposed to the Cottage, where that was rebuilt in the 60s. This was rebuilt in 1990. As we go along the High Street, we will come to another pub on the corner, which is quite famous in this area. And then we come to Market Street, and it's a particularly very busy crossroads just by the cross. Very famous crossroads. Actually, we've got Manor Park here on the left, big white house here. Large house here on the corner, and called Manor Park. You think that looks like some kind of manor, wouldn't you? Old, famous old school down there, built in the 1930s. And it became an academy in 2012. And they changed the name to the Kingswinford Academy in 2019. They've got 4 houses there: Krypton, Neon, Argon and Helium. Back in 2016, an old part of the building, the canteen, was demolished. It had been used since 1939. And ahead of me is Penza Street. Now, Penza Street is interesting in as much as that I used to live in Penza Street, and I've got a very interesting tale to tell you about Penza Street when I lived there. I'm going to leave it for another time. But where that car park is ahead next to the sports shop, there used to be a row of terraced houses, and this sports shop here has been here as long as I can remember. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, many years ago, that sports shop's still there now. Just along here there was a Bradley's general store that sold sweets, that kind of thing. Bradley's stores. Up until recently, what's this? This totally uniform and the interior shop? That used to be a charity shop, I believe. This used to be the co-op just here. It's been closed down a while now. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. There we are, we got the cross. It did change its name for a time. I think they called it the Atlantic Crossing or something like that. But the cross is very famous. It's going to be a bit difficult to get a good shot of this, but this has been here since 1750. It's a Grade 2 listed, and it was originally owned by a glassmaker by the name of Diana Briscoe. And she had a house up near Summerhill, I believe, and that's now a Harvester. But this was always been famous, the cross, for meetings, dinners, auctions, inquests. It even had boxing and billiard matches, and it had a pigeon club, and it had a skittle alley, bowling green and tennis courts all around the pub. It's a Wetherspoons pub now, called the Crossing, and when we're up the crossroads here you can see how busy this is now. This is where, if you go to the left up Market Street, you'll be going to Stourbridge. Ahead, you would be going to Swindon. To the right, you'd be going to Wolverhampton, and where I've just come from, you'd be going to Dudley. And as we all know, when we go straight on, we're going towards places such as Ashwood and Kinver, Kidderminster, Bewdley, all those places that we folk from West Bromwich would often go on a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. The area hasn't changed very much from my days when I was young here. It's still busy, still thriving. Yeah, still lots of traffic. So I'm going to have a walk up the shops. Turkish barber there. We've got a micro pub here. Micro pubs are good. I like micro pubs. I think we should have more of them along the high street in West Brom. Okay, let's just pan you down here. And did you know that Kingswinford had its very own cinema? And it was right here with his Boots, the chemist is. Yeah, it was called the Grand, and on this site used to be a market hall, and it was converted to a cinema and opened on the 5th of January 1920. The first film was The Claw, and the seats were priced accordingly: 3pence, 4pence, 9pence and up to 1 shilling. It even had its own orchestra, which was unusual for such a smallish type cinema, although it did accommodate up to 800 patrons. But with a lot of rebuilding over the years, it did bring it down to 650. But it was in trouble after it even opened on 1920, but it began to show signs of problems and trouble in 1924, when attendances began to plummet. They had some new management, and it was refurbished with a new sound system in 1930, and a new manager came in 1935 for further refurbishment, and the final refurbishment was in 1950 when they had new projectors and new sound equipment. But finally the cinema, even though it was struggling, did survive until 1964, when they showed their last film, a James Bond film in fact, From Russia with Love, and it closed on the 26th of September 1964. Yep, the Grand Cinema here in Kingswinford. Just crossed over to show you, which is another very old pub here in Kingswinford, and it's an original one. It's not been turned into one of these bar grills. It's the Market Hall Tavern, and it's been there since 1866. And whilst I'm here, behind me, just here is a street called Summer Street, and I'll take you down here because there's something interesting down here as well. And most unusual these days to see a pub down a back street, but not only a pub down the back street, but it's in between houses. Houses are joined it on both sides. I always find that very interesting, fascinating really, because that's how many of the backstreet boozers used to look like, you know. And we still got one here in Kingswinford. It's called the Leopard, and you can see it's still trading. Shame we got the car in front. Let's see if we can get a better view in front. And you can see, look, we got the red wall cottages to the right of it, and we've got another terrace property to the left of it, and yeah, in there's the Leopard. And if we do look over here, you can see a lot of some very old at the tops of the shops. You can see the very old frontages. These look in fact very old, maybe the turn of the century, and we're all modern shop frontages these days. There would have been a post office or something along here. This is an antique store. Yeah, it's called the Antiques Old Curiosity Shop. Yeah, you can see a lot of the frontages are fairly modern, but you can see above the frontage, you can see that they were all very old terrace properties back in the day. There's a seashell cafe just over there. Yeah, the Pig and Pickle here is now a coffee bar and kitchen. It's Park Street down there. And if you can see down Park Street, you can see a lot of very old terrace properties down there. It's a very old part of Kingswinford there. Beauty salons. That's about the second or third I've seen. Here's the library. It's been there since the early 60s, I believe. There's Figaro Barbers. Looks like it's closed down. Don't think that would have been a Turkish one. Got a car showroom up here. New and used cars. And this garage here, called Mill Garage, used to have a clock that worked, but it's stuck at around 12 o'clock. That's a big fine house there ahead of me. That's opticians. We got Oak Street there on the right. Yeah, this becomes Stream Road up here, where Market Street ends. What we'll do now is head back into the main shopping town of Kingswinford. When I lived here, it was a very kind of agricultural area. After I left Penza Street, I went to live in Winford Avenue, which is just off Bromley Lane. And at the back of that house, there was just loads and loads of fields. You could see fields for miles. There was even a farm, which was next to Wordsley Hospital, with its clock tower. The clock tower still stands. Probably that's a listed building, but the farm has gone a long time now. We've also all the fields have all gone. It's all housing estates now. Houses everywhere around the back. So its rural feel, its village status disappeared, and it's now a town. Yeah, when you look across the road at this antique, shop, next to it a nail bar. Very old, little old house. Not many old type properties on that side of the road left. Next to the Market Hall Tavern, way back in the day, would have been a Wesleyan chapel of sorts. Just as I said earlier about the Grand Cinema, this is still a part of a kind of reminder, this wall. You can see there on old photographs of the cinema, that wall. You can see all this has a distinct modern feel along here now, with all these new shop frontages and flats above. Because these, to my left now, they're all like 60s builds, where the shops now would be built in a kind of crescent shape. There was a Greek restaurant there on the corner. That seems to have closed down now. Yeah, it's quite quaint, this particular area. Yeah, we've got a few shops here on the left. We've got a butchers, we've got building societies, we've got charity shops and flower shops. Flower shops, we haven't got enough of them in. We haven't got any of them in West Bromwich, have we? Along the high street. Gift shops, card shops. There's here just the facility for a few market stalls. I'm not sure when you'd have market day. I remember there being a music shop here. Maybe it was that one there, because just above it's got the word school in the window, which may have had a music school. There's another beauty salon there. Robbie's restaurant, I don't know if that's still trading, but it's probably one of those that opens in the evening maybe. Estate agent here. We've got a few estate agents. Looking over there, we got one just ahead of me there. We got a sewing service, beauty salon. Gosh, there's some beauty salons around, isn't there? And another opticians. We've got a fair few opticians actually in Kingswinford. Don't know what that means. It's called the Kingswinford Royal British Legion Club. It's been here for quite some time, this place. Very well maintained frontage. Bit of a stone going on there, and we've also got a bit of a notice board there. So yeah, it's been there as long as I can remember as well. But the cross in its day had a large area at the rear anyway, because it had its bowling green and tennis court, you know. Those facilities are long gone. Got a beer garden now going on, and we've also got something called Kids Planet here. So, am I right in thinking at this house ahead of me was the police station here in Kingswinford? It's been way back in the 60s, but now it's nursery. If you remember all the fuss back in the 1999 and year 2000 when the Millennium Dome was opened in London. People forget that Kingswinford had its very own dome. It's had a variety of uses over the years. I do remember it being an electrical store, but now it looks like it's selling conservatories, double glazing, that kind of thing. Just coming out of the old Co-op car park. I always thought it was a really strange looking building here as an estate agent. Surely there must have been, it must have had another purpose. It looks like some kind of Swiss chalet. But I've always known it as an estate agent. A very strange place as well for it to be, right off the beaten track, if you like. Yes, that's the end of our little walk around KINGSWINFORD Town Centre. It's not changed a great deal. It still looks very much the same. It still feels busy, still thriving round there. All the shops seems to be doing all right. The pubs are still going strong, and yeah, it's all right, KINGSWINFORD. It was nice to find the old school where I used to go to, St Mary's School, and it's nice to see that the perimeter wall is still there. Yeah, amazing really. But anyway, yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button and also hit subscribe and click the notification bell for new videos, and yeah, and I'll see you on the next one.